Right, so a while back, I was probably kind of like you, and so what I would do is I wasn't an intelligent kid, right? I wasn't like a smart kid, and I wasn't really that educated, to be honest. I wouldn't do anything productive. Like homework was always on a Sunday. If that sentence I just said didn't fry neurons in your mind and send electrical inputs through your brain, you probably can't relate. But if you know what I'm talking about, you know that's homework is always on Sundays, unless like you're Christian, obviously. Then like homework's always like a Saturday because to keep the Sabbath day holy. But the main point is, I was a bad student, bro. I would not do homework until a Sunday. I wouldn't like I didn't have my priorities right, and so best believe I'd go. I just remembered that sometimes in like year six, so like if you're in America, year six is like when you're around 10 to 11. So I remember around that time, so around that age, around age 10, I would wake up. School started we call it primary school here in the UK. School started at 9 p.m. and I would sometimes wake up at 7 p.m. And so what I would do is I would wake up and the first thing I would grab is a Wii U and start playing Splatoon. Now, like a Wii U is kind of like a game console, and Splatoon is a shooter for kids, like a third person shooter for kids. But like they use ink, and it was actually a sick game, you know. Like I can't lie. Like if you never don't play video games, obviously, but like if you were one of those boys who played Splatoon, I rate you highly, man. Like mad respect from me, man. We could say you used to wake up earlier just to play video games. And then at one point, like my mum caught me playing video games too early in the morning. And she was like, "No, no, no, you can't do this anymore. This is not allowed." Which like fair enough in it, but like I was in the middle of a ranked game, bro. If you ever play video games, bro, you know you can't leave a ranked game, bro. You gotta finish the ranked game. Like if you just queued into a new one and it takes like 5 minutes, bro, it doesn't matter, bro. That 5 minutes is being used for the game. School can wait, bro. And so then, obviously, after I wasn't allowed to play video games in the morning, I wasn't going to stop there. And so I'd come home from school. Sometimes I wouldn't even take off my uniform, bro. And I'd start playing on a PlayStation or an Xbox. Like, because I used to have a PlayStation and then like I had an Xbox. But like, that's not really the point. The point I'm trying to get across is I was no like productive person. I would like reading. I despised it. I hated those people who would say, "Oh, reading's really good for you." I didn't read, and then I started reading and reading. Like, shut up, bro. Like those guys. Like it is true. Once you start reading, you'll understand. It's true, right? You'll understand that after you start reading, all those guys who were on YouTube saying, "Oh, reading changed my life," it's true, bro. Reading will change your life. But you didn't come here for me to be an average YouTuber and be like, "Oh, reading changed my life, guys." Like everyone said that, bro. I'm not here to tell you like specific books or stuff. I'm just here to tell you, man to man, why you should read, right? Because if you're not already reading, I guarantee you're missing out on so much, bro. Like, you don't understand how much you're actually missing out on. Because now I wake up earlier just to read, right? Like, think about that, bro. I used to wake up earlier so I could play video games. I could play Splatoon. I used to wake up, bro, primarily to play. I wasn't getting out of my pajamas. I turned on the TV and I used to play video games. Now I wake up at 5 o'clock just to read. Like, actually, notice this, right? Notice this. Why is it that everyone dedicates so much time to reading? because everyone who you know that reads at like 30 minutes, like at least, right? And you're there thinking, why don't they just like play video games? Like why are they gonna go and start reading? Like that's cringe, bro. Just like hop online. What are you doing, bro? Like we can get in like arena duos and then like just get a quick like. Hopefully, I'm the person that explains to you like why those guys read for like at 30 minutes at a time or maybe even longer. And I'm gonna try and hopefully make you become one of these people. And at the very least, hopefully you actually start like picking up books and start reading. Reason number one on why you do not read is because your past experiences of reading were absolute trash, right? And so, because really think about this, right? Like, think about to the books you used to read when you were in school, right? Like Biff, Chipper, and Kip, and like you read all these trash books, and then like when you got to high school, you didn't need to read books anymore, right? And you was like so happy because like your reading record wasn't there was no reading record anymore, right? So let's think back to those times when you used to have a reading record. In the UK, we had a reading record. So like if you don't know, it is kind of like we would have to have our, I think it was our parents. No, actually, because yeah, we had to read in front of our teacher, and our teacher would like have our reading record and hear us read and like write stuff down, and we'd have to show it to our parents about like our reading record. Or it was like we'd read in front of our parents and then they'd mark it and then we'd show it to the teacher just to like show us that we read and like we're not just like skipping reading and stuff like that, you know. So if you can think back to those times, right, you didn't actually have an interest in what you were reading. Reading wasn't like something you wanted to do, it was something you were forced to do. And so now that you don't need to read, you don't, because the only perception you have of reading is one where it's a negative thing and it's a chore to do. Like right now, reading for me and all the guys that you see reading do not see reading as a chore. They see reading as like the most fun thing ever. Why would I wake up early to read if I did not like reading, bro? Like, actually think. No, 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 no. Actually think about that for a second, bro. Why would I wake up earlier to dedicate more time to reading if I didn't like reading? I'm not here to be one of these YouTubers who are like, oh, this is the reason why you're not reading. Number one, your past experiences, and then just leave it at that. I want to tell you how to like counter that. Because I was kind of like you too. When I first started out reading, bro, I hated reading. There was so much resistance to just go and pick up a book, sit down and start reading. Because like most of the books that we read weren't interesting whatsoever. But when we read the right type of books, the books that like are actually informational and the ones where everyone's saying, "Oh, this book changed my life." When you read a book, it's kind of like you're getting mentorship from that specific person who's an expert in their field on that specific topic. So if we say, I'll say, for example, if we're interested in sales funnels and earning money online and like building a social media business, we could buy a book. We could buy Russell Brunson's .com Secrets trilogy, right? Expert Secrets, .com Secrets, and Traffic. It goes .com Secrets, Expert Secrets, Traffic Secrets. We could get those, and it's almost like we're getting a mentorship from Russell Brunson, who's an expert in sales funnels, like persuading people and telling stories and storytelling and building like a social media business basically. We can buy a book for around £10 to get experience, basically mentorship from that guy. So the first thing I want you to do is think about a topic you're interested in. And so that will kind of help you start building the habit of reading when you can snowball it and actually get used to reading books that you're not necessarily interested in. Right now, though, you don't have to worry about that. We want to just make the process as simple as possible for you to actually enjoy reading and have this kind of thing where it's like me and I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, gee, I dedicate more time to reading. And like, you'll be one of those guys who are thinking like, why don't people read more often? This could literally any book, whatever sparks your interest. The first book I got was about mental health, and then like midway through, I didn't like it, but I decided to finish it. And then I got another book, which I actually have somewhere. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. So it's basically a book about social skills. And then I was interested in like money. So then I started reading books on that. So literally, my advice to you is choose a topic you're interested in. Go and search on books for that. Maybe if you like my content, you could scroll through my videos. I think I have a video on reading. It's like at the very start of my channel, and it goes into some books which I like and like the importance of reading as well. So you might like that if you like this. So just go down there and check it out. The second reason why you might not like reading is simply because you are overstimulated. Now, overstimulation is kind of like, if you imagine like, it's kind of like your brain's getting fried, right? If you can imagine like your brain literally getting fried, that's kind of like what overstimulation is. That's what happens when like the dopamine receptors are like working too much. I don't know the science behind it, bro. I don't have it. I don't like research this stuff. Just trust me, man. I'm not citing anything. I don't have anything to cite, bro. Like, just trust me in it. Like, and so why would you like really think about this? Why on earth would you choose to read which you find very boring, unentertaining, and not stimulating whatsoever, when you can go on TikTok, which is entertaining, not boring, and very stimulating, right? It just doesn't make sense. Because, for example, TikTok, or like anything like video games, drugs, porn, whatever it is, it's a form of instant gratification, right? So if we think, okay, if it's a form of instant gratification and reading is a form of delayed gratification, we want to increase how much we read, and we want to probably decrease how much we indulge in these bad habits, right? Reading's a good habit. TikTok, for example, we'll use TikTok for example. Watching TikTok is a bad habit. Consuming on TikTok is a bad habit. Producing on TikTok is a good thing, alright? To a degree, if you're like posting like, if you're posting like sexual dances, you're not really doing good either, bro. Like you're essentially a consumer as well, so like don't do that either, right? But the point is, we want to get rid of the instant gratifications, or at least drastically reduce them. Best case scenario, we don't have any instant gratification. And the best case scenario is that we have fully delayed gratification, or at least, if you obviously, best case scenario is like we think big in the self-improvement industry. So most likely we're going to drastically increase delayed gratification. And so what I've basically just explained to you here is dopamine detoxing. So overstimulate, like dopamine detox is kind of like the ultimate counter to like overstimulation. Like I know you're a nerd, right? And if chances are if you watch anime, you might have played this game, Dragon Ball Fighters, right? You know what the touch of death is. If you don't, it's kind of like this combo where it kills a person from full health. So like they can like do this. Well, how would you explain it to like a non-video gamer? It's kind of like a series of attacks which are used to like basically end them, right? That's over, dead, done, right? And so dopamine detox is kind of like that to overstimulation, except that like if you get off the dopamine detox and then like over time you like carry on indulging in overstimulating stuff, it comes back to like full health. So it kind of like regenerates its health, right? But that's based on how much you actually indulge in it. The more you indulge, the more like like the more attacks you'll need to defeat it again. And so, really, dopamine detox is what we want to do. That is how we'll solve overstimulation. I don't really know any more reasons to give to like why you don't read. That should be enough for now. If I figure out more in the future, I'll add it to future videos. But now you know why you don't read, and you know how to counter it. So now we need to explain in more detail, why should you read? Now you should you should read. Like, to me it's obvious, right? But like, because you don't read, I'm gonna have to try and like explain it as well as I can. But I'm not like, reading does this to the brain and like, oh, the IQ level. Like, I'm not worried about it. I'm just like here to give you like simple stuff, right, that hopefully you can understand. So earlier I said that reading is kind of like getting a mentorship from that person, and that's exactly what it's like. Reading the right book is like you're being taken along a journey with an expert about that specific topic, and he's put that into like 300 plate he's put that into 300 pages, and you can read that within like 2 weeks, depending on like how much time you actually dedicate to reading. So in 2 weeks you can essentially get a good, or at least a very good level of knowledge about a specific topic. Say for example like sleep, which I should be doing now, but because I'm helping you, I'm delaying. So like, I'm a bit like in charge it, right? Small sacrifice to pay for salvation. Another reason why we need to talk about reading and why you should read is return on investment and the compound effect. And I'm going to explain these two. When you read, you invest a little bit of time, maybe like an hour a day. Even like, some people say like even 10 minutes a day is good enough. Like, I'm guessing like you're quite young right now, so I'd say roughly about 30 minutes a day. If you can read for 30 minutes a day, that's fantastic. And so if you invest 30 minutes, remember we said like you're being taken on a journey with an expert, and if on a topic you're interested in. And so really think about that for a second. You're literally spending 30 minutes per day with an expert taking you on a journey on a topic you're interested in. If that like doesn't like if that doesn't like get you excited to read, bro, like that's like, I don't know how to explain it to you, bro. Like, really think about that on a topic you want to know a lot about, and every day you're being mentored by this guy whenever you want to just like learn about it, like problem solved, like nothing has to be done. And so really think about what you'll get out of that 30-minute journey every single day, because every single day you're basically extracting an expert level of knowledge from this person, and so the return on investment on it is high. And we also need to talk about the compounding effect. And the compounding effect is like, over time, it's like, how would I explain it? I'm gonna use my whiteboard because this kind of helps with the whiteboard, right? Right. So as you can see, I've not really drawn the best of graphs, but it kind of explains what the compound effect is like. So on this side is results, and here is time. And so what the compounding effect is kind of like your results will exponentially grow over time. And when you read, at first it's kind of like, over time it's kind of like this at the start, and you don't really see much difference. But because you're gaining knowledge every day, all day, it's like, it's actually like much bigger than just 30 minutes a day of getting expert knowledge, because it'll just compound, bro. I don't know how to explain it to you honestly, but it's like, if you can just trust me and trust what I'm saying, and you think I'm somewhat relatable to you, this will make sense, bro. It's with the compounding effect, it's kind of like your XP will just double over time. So when you're here, your XP doesn't really double. It's like it increases by like 1%, and then like it doesn't even increase by 1%, bro. It increases by like half of 1%, right? So 0.5%. So around here it increases by like 0.5%. And around this mark, it's like it's multiplying by like, what would we say? It's multiplying by like 20%. And around here is when it's actually starting to get to big numbers, and it's increasing by like 50%, 100%. And with reading, when you get the knowledge from the experts, like you're getting XP in that specific area. So if we're talking about money and you're like reading a book on money, you're getting more XP in like the knowledge of money and like money in general. And so right now here, you're not reading much, and so you don't know much about money. But as you start reading, this is what happens with like your XP in like the money area, and it just goes like that. I don't really know how else to explain it to you. I'm not really explained it well, but like that in my head somewhat makes sense. But that's obvious. I've been reading for a while, so it might not make sense to you. Okay, so my camera's about to die, so I've been talking for a while. The best way I'd start out reading is start by taking it slow. Choose a topic you're interested in, and just read it for like a couple minutes a day. It could be like five, but by the time you actually start like reading the topic you're interested in and you like the book, you'll just start automatically reading for like longer periods of time. So on that note, my camera's about to die and I need to go and charge it, and I need to get to bed because it's almost 8:30. And yeah, I go to sleep early. I'll explain that in a future video. Anyway, take care, bro, and start reading. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, do all the algorithmic stuff and like all the analytical stuff, and just like do it, man. It's a win-win for both. Like, at least subscribe, bro. Like, if you watch this far, it's a win-win for both of us, man. Come on, just do it. Safe.